We are on the worksheet for section 10.4, and it's the part 1 worksheet. We're at question 3. It says a farmer has 4 fields and 6 options for types of seeds he can plant. And how many different ways can he choose a type of seed to plant in each of his 4 fields? Versus part B says, in how many ways can he choose the seeds if he wants each of the fields to have a different crop than the others? So we start to get a little bit of an idea of the difference between these two. So it seems like in part B, he cares that he actually plants 4 different types of crops versus in part A, it doesn't really matter if there's duplicates of the types of crops. We're going to assume that he can tell his fields apart, so maybe he has like a first field, second field, third, or northwest, southwest, however he keeps track of them, but the fields are distinct. So if we think about how many quote-unquote events there are here, if we think about what his decisions actually have to be, well, he has to decide what kind of seed to plant in field 1, what to do in field 2, field 3, and then the last one, field 4. So when we're thinking about it, there's really 4 different events. He has to pick 4 different crops, one for each field, which is also going to be the same in the next part. We're still also going to have 4 different events, one for each field. Now in the top question in part A, it just says how many ways can he choose a type of seed to plant in each field. So in field 1, well, he has 6 different options of seeds he can plant, so he would have 6 options. And then for field 2, we don't have any restrictions. He can plant the same type again, like maybe plants corn in both of those fields, for instance. So the number of options is still 6, and it's going to be 6 for all of them. And then if we remember which technique we're using, we're doing sequential counting. We've got multiple events. And then we figured out how many ways each of those events can happen. And then sequential counting says multiply those numbers together. So we've got 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, which is 1296. Now in the bottom one, we now have a restriction that's going to change the number of options we have. So we still have field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, but now he doesn't want any of the types of seeds to duplicate. So in the first field, he still has 6 options, but then he can't use that type of seed again. So now when we go to field 2, he's only going to have 5 options. And when he gets to field 3, he can't use either of the previous 2 types, so he's down to 4, and then 3 options. And again, we're still using sequential counting principle, so we'll multiply those numbers together. So this time we've got 6 times 5 times 4 times 3, which is only 360 options. So a key thing to kind of notice is we really have to think about, in sequential counting, what numbers go in the different events. It's not always the same pattern for every problem that we do. We really have to think about the context of the question that we're in and how to interpret and model that context.